thank you for coming in today. I understand that your skin's been feeling a little bit unbalanced, a mix of oiliness and blemishes. Well, it's pretty common and it's nothing to worry about. What I will be doing today is having a really good look at all of your skin, and I'll be concentrating on the areas of concern. Alright, okay. That will give me a good indication of what's going on and what I can do to treat it. Okay, you're welcome. How are you anyway? You okay? Oh, that's good. Yeah, really well, thank you, my love. Right, what I'm going to do is have a really good look without touching, okay? And I will be jotting some notes as I go. Okay. So, I like to do this first, and then it gives me a good idea of what's what. Okay. I can see a few blemishes, okay, and some are quite small, some do have white heads, you do have a few black heads in between, but you do have some quite large boil type spots, not quite cysts, but they are spots. Looks like there is a head, but it's very deep down. Alright, and you might find that they're quite painful. Okay, and they're very inflamed, and your cheek areas do look quite red and flush. It's not rosacea, but it is part of the acne. Yeah, you definitely do have acne on the cheek areas, my lovely, and it looks a little bit oily there, which it will be, but it also looks dry and flaky. Now, I'm guessing you've been using something quite harsh on your skin. Yeah. Okay, so what was that? Yeah. Okay, that will explain that. Yeah, and the T-zone is quite oily. Alright, and I would say that your skin is probably typically a combination, and you know, if the acne wasn't there, your cheeks would be quite normal to dry. Alright, yeah, but the T-zone is a little bit on the oily side. I will be checking the oil production and having a feel and things like that, okay, just to make sure on that. It's very difficult when you have acne to kind of give you an exact, you know, skin type. Okay. So, I'm just gonna have a look around you. Yeah. Okay. and chin. So you do have quite a few blackheads on your chin. You do have quite a large spot. It's the corner of your mouth. How long's that been there? Okay. Yeah, that's the thing sometimes. The acne spots, they tend to just linger and they don't kind of go, or they just keep flaring up again, or then they go, but then another one comes. So, yeah, I will be having a really good feel around, okay? Just have a look at your hair. Okay. And this side. Okay, so your hairline's fine. Now I'm just going to get my light, okay? It might be bright, so you might want to close your eyes. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shimmer when I do that from the oil. Very, very angry. It looks really sore, my love. Yeah. You don't have breakouts on your nose. You do have some enlarged pores and blackheads, but that's it. Nothing between your brows. And your eyebrows are okay, but I will have a feel through those as well. Okay. You do have some dark circles. Again, that's quite common. Just tilt your head for me, my love. Yeah, it's quite angry around there. Do you find at any time of the month it is worse? Okay. So obviously with the clogged pores, they could do with being extracted and relieved. Okay, that's going to help prevent further breakouts. Face is slightly round. Looks tight, dry, but slightly oily. Combination skin. Okay, right. Okay. What I'm gonna do now is just feel your face, and I want you to tell me if you can feel it and what it feels like to you. The reason why I do this is I'd like to see if you still have feeling in the areas where the acne is, because sometimes it can take over so much that you kind of lose feeling a little bit and it feels really sore and sensitive, so it gives me a good idea. Alright. Okay. Good. Okay, what's it feel like? Okay. Okay. Now, would you say it feels less around your cheeks? So you can't feel it as much. Okay. Is one side worse than the other? Okay, let's do it together. Okay, that is actually the more angry side. Yeah. That's right. Which way do you sleep in bed? Right, that could be causing it to be a lot worse. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, interesting. Do you ever get any numbness, or tingling, or anything in your face? Okay, what about stinging, burning, itching? Okay. Lovely. Now I'm going to put gloves on, alright. I don't want to add any more bacteria. I like to keep it as, clean as possible. Okay. Now I will be having a good touch to feel around, be doing like different squeezing and things like that. Now sometimes it may feel a little bit uncomfortable, alright, but I'll try and be gentle as possible. Okay, lovely. So let's just have a look at your nose first, okay? Okay, so it feels a bit slippy. That's from the oil there. Okay. Again, that's a little bit slippy. Okay. I'm going to check the oil production, I think, before I get into the detailed exam. Yeah. Definitely see all else on that one. Okay. Yeah, so I can see some dry patches, but then there's quite a lot of oil, which that's obviously what I could see. Yeah, same that side. Yeah, okay. Yeah, a little bit on the forehead. Okay, and lastly, just the jawlines. And quite oily around there. Okay. Right. Alright, so T-zone is definitely on the oily side. Okay. Not excessively though, my lovely. Okay, that's not that bad. Around the cheeks where the acne is, that's worse. But you do have some peeling and dry patches as well. So what I'm going to do now is actually really assess. Okay. Okay. Squeeze a little bit. Is that alright? Yeah, some of those blackheads could come out quite easily, but some a little bit further in. And because some of your pores are quite enlarged, they are collecting all the dirt, the grime and bits very easily, which is why you've got quite a few blackheads. Using things like a good toner or things like that just to help shrink your pores a little bit, just to give it that kind of look, and then it will kind of prevent dirt and things going in there. Alright, and you can buy certain products that help shrink your pores a little bit. There's all sorts of different things which like mask it to make it appear something it isn't, which is really good. Yeah, but I'll try to avoid anything like that at the moment, my lovely, okay? But yeah, it does feel, when I first touched it, it felt quite slippy, but it actually feels a lot better now I've removed the oil with that sheet. I mean, it is afternoon now, so, you know, does it always look shiny to you and oily, or is it after a certain time? Yeah, that could be from dehydration. Your forehead actually appears quite dehydrated. Yeah. It could be why it's appearing oily. It's like trying to overcompensate. I can't see any pigmentation on your nose or your forehead. That was quite nice and clear. I can't see any fine lines or wrinkles on your forehead either, apart from dehydration lines. Okay. No, I can't see any lines there, my lovely. Just looking under your eyes a little bit now. Okay, so you do have some dark circles, okay? Do you always have those? Yeah. There's no puffiness. You may get some puffiness sometimes in the morning, or if you're tired or you've got a headache or you're unwell and things. But looking at you now, you don't typically have puffiness under your eyes. So it just depends what you've been doing, why you've got puffy eyes. Okay. But looking at your eyes, I wouldn't say you're a typically puffy-eyed person. Yeah, but you definitely do have the dark circles, and that's probably been there a very long time. Yeah, you're quite shallow here, so it's very in, so it makes it look deeper than it is, like hollow, and then it's giving you that reflection, which makes it look even darker than it is. Yeah, I experience it. Yeah, so it's just one of those things. You can get like filler and things in there, but you don't really want to start messing with things like that, in my personal opinion. It's very, very close to your eyes, but you can get some good results with it. Okay, but I can see a slight little line underneath, okay, which is very common with anybody, even when you were younger. But I feel like under your eyes are a little bit dehydrated, so what I'm going to do now is gently squeeze under there. So if you could close your eyes for me, that would be really great. Okay, I'm going to try and do it a little bit there as well. This one. And just a little bit. Yeah, I can definitely see that. You can open your eyes. So under your eyes, they are very dehydrated. Yeah, and you're looking at them, they look quite shiny, if you know what I mean. Now that is overcompensating, and because it's dehydrated, but that's not, you haven't got greasy under eyes. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, do you use an eye cream at all? Okay, well, that's something you need to start using. Alright. Yeah, especially if you are concerned about any lines under your eyes. You know, you can get some like hyaluronic serums, even with the balls on, to help reduce any puffiness. Yeah, and you know, use eye masks underneath your eyes, because that's not going to irritate your acne, it's just going to go there. So you can still look after other sections of your face if you're having trouble elsewhere. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So yeah, you can do that, and you can use an eye cream, and you just go or and like that out, or you could do circle motions and out. Do a mix of that would be really good for you. Yeah, that's right, and that will really help that section. And if you can use face like under eye masks, and you know, even maybe fresh cucumber or like a tea bag that you've used once it's cooled down and things like that, it's going to help depuff, hydrate, and really awaken your eye area. So there's some things that you might want to consider. Alright, but yeah, other than that, it's very nice and very youthful under your eyes. You haven't got to worry about anything like that. Alright, my lovely, you're welcome. So that's good. I'm going to go onto your cheeks last, okay? Now I'm just going to go down and have a quick look at your chin. So it does feel a tad oily, and you've definitely got some blackheads and a couple of enlarged pores. Now you do have this really big breakout here, which I'm sure you are aware. Is it alright if I can have a touch? Okay. How does that feel? Hurts. It is very, very solid. There's no white head, it is like a boil. Alright. Yeah, and I think just by looking, I can see maybe a whitehead deep within, but it's very in. Am I alright if I have a little squeeze? It will hurt, but you know, it needs to be done. Okay? Just deep breaths, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Take a nice deep breath in and hold it. And release. Okay. Did that hurt? Yeah. So yeah, it's very solid. There's no whitehead coming up or anything, okay? So this is definitely a boil. I wouldn't say it's a cyst, no. But it's down within. I mean, we could drain it and release the fluid, or we can stick to using some kind of treatment and see if it just breaks down naturally. Yeah, so it's up to you what you want to do, but there is definitely some kind of boil going on there. Yeah. How long have you had that? Right, interesting. Okay. Let me just feel it down your jaw. Okay. Yeah, so you've got a few breakouts along here, haven't you? You do have some whiteheads. And same that side. You do have whiteheads. There's a few blackheads, but not a lot. It's just more whiteheads here. Yeah. And some I can tell that were whiteheads that you've either picked off, that have fell off, or just starting to dissolve. Yeah. And I can definitely see some scarring. You've been picking, haven't you? Easier said than done, but we all do it. Yeah. It's not the best to do because it's going to damage your skin barrier and obviously can leave scarring, but you know, there is things down the line that you could do if you really was that bothered about the scarring. Yeah, or you know, you can just embrace it, and over time you probably won't particularly notice it. It just depends. I mean, I've seen worse acne, if I'm really honest, and I've had really good results. So, you know, it's not the worst, but it is a little bit angry and up there. Yeah. I'm just going to feel now and have a really good look. Alright, my lovely, I know, just deep breaths, so I'm just having a squeeze. Okay, so there's a little bit going on here. We've got a little bit of dehydration, alright, and that's making it feel quite dry. And then obviously around where your breakouts are, it's quite oily. Yeah. Let's have a look this side. Okay, deep breaths, my love. And that side is pretty much the same. Okay, yeah. So most of the time, do you find it's just like a white head? So you don't tend to get ones that, you know, don't have a white head. Okay, which is quite good. That's good. It's just if you have so many, just more like boils, it's like cystic acne, and yeah, it can be a lot harder to deal with. When did this start? How old are you? Right. Yes, it is quite common actually in adulthood. Yeah. Okay. Anything in particular that you may have done which could have maybe triggered it? I mean, stress can, diet, lifestyle, things like that, medication, and pregnancies, periods can trigger it off, like especially if it's like hormonal. You know, it just depends. Yeah. Okay, sometimes it just happens. Yeah, and a lot of the time it's, some people, it's improper care of their skin. They're using the wrong products, they're using too much products, or their skin goes through purging, especially if you start using retinol, and different things like that. Sometimes people don't use anything, and that can have a knock-on effect. Some people find that they got on better without using anything. It is personal preference, but I always like to encourage a healthy, good skincare regime. Alright, now with the products that you said you were trying are actually going to be stripping your skin and harming your skin barrier, and that's not going to be helping. Yeah, we need to keep our skin nice and supple, hydrated, but not greasy. Okay? Yeah. I think a retinol would be good for you down the line, because that can help with scarring, and it obviously helps with fine lines and even out your skin tone and texture and things like that. But if you're popping retinol on top of that, you're going to probably do more harm than good. I know you're probably thinking, whack the retinol on, it's really going to help. No, because then your skin can start purging, and then you can start having breakouts while it's trying to recover. Yeah, so please avoid that. Yeah, if you were ever going to use a product like that, it would be something that I would prescribe you. I can prescribe you just like a Retin A product, which is a topical cream. Yeah, it is obviously a form of a retinoid, but it's in a Retin A form, okay? And it would just be a thin layer on the affected area. It can be quite effective. Yeah, okay. Or we could go down the line of like Roaccutane and other things like that. Have you had any antibiotics at all? Okay, what have you had? And no joy. Okay, have you had any topical treatments? Have you tried benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid? Okay. What percentages do you know? Sometimes it's about finding the right percentage, as well as obviously the right product. Can you smile for me? So when you smile, your skin goes very tight. And do you find that quite uncomfortable? You do? Yeah. Okay, relax. Can you raise your brows? Okay, relax. Now, can you scrunch all your face? Very red, very tight. Okay, relax. Did that hurt? Alright, sorry, my love. Okay, now can you frown? Okay, relax. Did that feel okay? Good. Yeah. Okay. What I think we need to do is forget all the skincare products that you've been using and start some medicated products. Okay, I can prescribe you some. I think we need to be using the same range, and they need to be proper medicated level, so the percentages are higher, so you're using the right things. Okay, now when we are cleansing, my love, we need to be doing a double cleanse. Okay, so that's 2 cleanses. First one, removes everything, and the second one is your deep cleanse. Okay, now we do need to be exfoliating once or twice a week. Now, some people think you must exfoliate every single day to get this all off. No, you're just damaging your skin barrier. and you cannot go without exfoliating because all the dead skin is going to be building up and going into your follicles, and then it's going to be causing blackheads, further whiteheads and things. Yeah, and I always recommend to use an exfoliator before a face mask. Now, I do recommend that you are using some face masks, okay? You really need to get the hydration back into your skin. You don't want nothing too harsh. You want something maybe like aloe vera, tea tree, something healing, maybe green tea, and something with hyaluronic acid in will be great. Vitamin C and things like that down the line, okay, not the moment. Yeah, so I feel like your core products are what I'm going to give you. That's going to be your cleanser, your toner, and your moisturiser. Okay, they're your 3 products that you need to be using. And then I'm going to give you a topical treatment, okay? And that will be put on before your moisturiser. Now, please don't use any other type of skincare that goes for acne, okay? Just use this range. Alright, double cleanse, tone, then you want to put on the treatment, let it dry into your skin, then put your moisturiser on. Okay, you're going to be doing that twice a day. Okay, then what I would like you to do is then use an eye cream of your choice, or an eye serum, or both. Okay, what I tend to do is use the serum first, say double cleanse, then I would tone, then I would use a serum, and then I would do my skincare and finish off with an eye cream. Okay, so you could do that. Now, the toner that I'm going to give you is a special toner, and it's also got so hypochlorous, and it's a hypochlorous solution with a couple of other ingredients which are going to help really remove the bacteria from your skin, reduce further breakouts. It's really antibacterial, cleaning and fresh, okay, and it's going to help heal as well. Alright, so that's very important for you to be using. Alright, and I will be taking a sample in a moment, my lovely. Okay. So that's what I want you to be doing. Okay, and then you can use your double cleanse, then you can use your toner, then you can use your eye serum or eye cream or whatever, then the treatment, then your moisturiser, and if you want to add on, say, another eye product, then at the end. Okay, does that sound good? Good. No, I don't want you to be adding anything else, my lovely, so avoid any hyaluronic acids, any vitamin C, retinol, anything like that. You need to avoid for now. Okay, but that being said, you can use face masks. Alright, something good, something hydrating, something nourishing, something moisturising, like I said, tea tree, aloe vera and things like that. And I want you to use that twice a week after an exfoliation. Okay, now I don't give out exfoliation products. I tend to recommend instead, because there's so many good exfoliators on the market that are not really going to do a lot of damage to your skin. Now, I do quite like Dermatologist's Daily Microfoliant, but I don't want you to use it every day, so you could use that before a mask. It's very gentle, it's like a paste, and you can really foam it up. It's a fantastic product. There is a slightly stronger one, which I'd probably recommend the stronger one, or you could use something else, just a general exfoliator, maybe like a Nip and Fab or something like that. It doesn't really matter as long as it's not abrasive. Okay, not too abrasive, we don't be scratching the skin. Alright, but when we no, not particularly, because they're not very good. The jelly beady ones don't really do anything. You need a bit of a scrub, a bit of a paste or something. If it's not got much of a scrub, as long as the paste or the ingredient has got a lot of exfoliating properties in it, then you don't really need it to be abrasive. So have a good look. I mean, I like the Cape Exfoliate, but the only problem is with that, it can make your skin quite flush, it can be a bit tingly, and it's going to be too harsh for your acne. So you don't want anything high strength, if that makes sense. Good. I will have a look around, and I will, when I write everything up and send all my recommendations over my findings, I will give you a breakdown of some recommendations for face masks and exfoliators and eye creams and things. Okay. Yeah, no problem. I can do that for you. There's so many that off my top of my head, it's just like, you can use kind of whichever. Yeah, so that's what I think we could do. All right, and then we'll work our way through and see where we get. All right, and like I said, then we can maybe start doing some medicated facials. We can go down the line of, microdermabrasion, laser treatments, hydrofacials, all sorts of different things like that I could do. Chemical peels maybe down the line, but we need to get your skin balanced, hydrated, protected, and soothed. All right, so it heals itself. Okay, and then when my skin's getting a little bit better, then I could do an extraction and things like that. You're welcome. So I'm just going to take a little sample, my lovely. Okay. All right. Okay. Just the acne. Lovely. Okay. Do you have any questions? I know I've kind of bombarded you with a lot of information. Okay, let me just write some notes. Yeah, so where you see the little bit of a mark, my love, that will eventually fade. Okay, you'll find before when you've had spots and they're there, and eventually they just go. I use a certain product that you can put it on and it hydrates the spot as well as kind of dampen down the redness. They're quite good as well. Heroes do quite a few, and maybe you can use some of those spot patches by Heroes. I do quite like those. If you've got like a really big one or the odd one, then you could probably use something like that. That's okay because it's not too harsh, but it's got good products in it to like absorb the spot. But it's quite, where they are, it's in a certain section, so it's not, it's not all over your face, which is great. Okay, so I will sort all the medication out, and the cleansers, toners, etc. Okay, that will be sorted out and given to you. So in a moment I will let you go and sit in the waiting room, and one of the nurses will bring you out all your treatment and instructions and things like that. Okay, and then I will get the sample done, get that tested, write up everything, and as I said, send it all over to you, and then you can go from there. And I would like to see you in 6 weeks, my lovely, okay, for a follow-up. By then, that's enough time for you to use all your skincare products and treatments. But in the meantime, if you do have any problems, please contact me. Okay. So this is my best approach for you, my lovely. Now, overall, your skin is quite healthy. All right, just make sure you're having plenty of water, plenty of fluid. Don't pick as much as you can, and just stick to the products that I'm giving you, apart from the other things that I've said. And I would definitely recommend you changing your pillow. Now, use a silk pillowcase or something like that, okay, and then every so often turn it round. Yeah, so it doesn't stick basically on cotton and other types of fabric. Bacteria lingers on the pillowcase and it goes into your skin, and you're constantly lying there and pushing it back, and it's building bacteria up, and then you're getting breakouts, and that makes it worse. Yes, okay. So anything like that, my lovely, that would be really good. But your skin is healing in places, so that's really good. I mean, it can just go on its own, but it's very unlikely when it's this stage. Now, are you happy to just go away as it is, rather than me draining it and see how you get on, and if it's still there then we can drain it then. Would you like to do that? Okay, what I'd suggest to you then, use your spot patches and use all of the topical treatments that you're going to put here there as well. Now I know you do have some quite large papules and pustules on your face, but it's not the same as this boil. Yeah, okay, so you want to leave it for now. Okay, my lovely, not a problem at all. We can do that for you. Okay, so do you have any questions? Okay, wonderful. I will just wipe over your face then, my love, because I have been touching and I want to remove any bacteria. Okay, so she's just going to wipe. This is an antibacterial wipe, especially for your face. Okay. And then that's you done. You're very welcome, my lovely. And you know, it's such an awful situation. I completely understand it. One of the reasons I went into dermatology was because of my acne. So it's really inspired me a lot to help others in the same situation. So, and I still get breakouts now sometimes, you know. Yeah, it could be all sorts, like hormone changes and, you know, weather, stress, diet, you know, all sorts of different things. Okay, does that feel right? Not stinging. Okay, good. There we go, my lovely. You are very, very welcome. Very welcome, my love. Alright, so that's us done for today. And you sure don't have any questions? Alright, well, I'll let you go and sit in the waiting room and one of my colleagues will come out and assist you. Yes, they will also book the appointment for you. Yeah, now a couple of days, my love, for the email. Alright, you're very welcome. You take care now. Bye-bye.